Hey, it's Sean with Price and Price Realtors. Just sitting out here and enjoying this beautiful day. I cannot believe this weather. It's tremendous. So this is this week's market report. We're going to go into the details of the summary of July, compare that to July of 2021, and kind of give you my opinion of what's kind of going on in the market with the market and where things stand. So we're going to head in and go ahead and start looking at some charts.
All right, so we can see from our data that buyer activity for the last days was down by 10%, and inventory activity was up by 5%. So what this did was this put us at a dead even level of activity between buyers and sellers. So if you go over here to the buyer's market versus the seller's market, you can see that we are right at a neutral market. So this is a really, really good place for buyers to be in, especially when you see as we go over the um, comparisons of this year versus last year and so on. So going back over to this side, you can see the general uptick in activity, and then it's just kind of flattened out a little bit. And we'll see as we go through the annual history, you'll see that this is a typical pattern that we'll see, and then in the next couple months, this will start to tick up again. So right now, buyer activity went down 10%, seller activity or inventory went up 5%. So we are at a neutral market. Again, this is a window of opportunity for buyers. In the market itself, we're seeing properties start to pick up and going under market quicker, or I'm sorry, under contract a little bit quicker again. And we are getting multiple offers on properties that are priced appropriately. And those properties are going above ask. There are a lot of sellers that are coming on the market right now trying to take advantage of the fact that, historically things have been moving quickly, and they're actually coming on the market at a price point that's too high. And so these sellers are actually having the property sit on the market a little bit longer until they get to the accurate price point. So having a good buyer's agent that knows the market and knows when a property is overpriced is key, because that can get you into a situation where you're not overpaying just based on expectations. Okay, so that's for the last 7 days. And now we're going to go into the summary of the market for July. So, July of 2021, we had 553 new listings. When compared to July of 2020, we were down by 20 listings. So, the inventory was less in July of 2021 than it was in July of 2020. So then if we go over to the number of sales, we can see that July of 2021, there was 442, which is higher than July of 2020. So what that means is we had a higher level of buyer activity with less inventory as compared to 2020. So the market is still in inventory is still low, and properties are still in high demand. And you can see this uptick here, this pattern of movement. And you can see how it kind of came down right here. It kind of went up and came down, and that matches what's going on here. We were coming up and we went down. So we're the market, the pulse of the market that we're seeing here is matching what the actual numbers are saying. So if you go to days on market, we actually for July 2021 had the lowest days on market in the last 18 months. So we went down to 32, which is actually 6 days lower than June of 2021. So properties are going under contract even quicker, and that's what we're seeing in the market. Again, there's a little bit of a window for buyers because you're not facing as many offers when if you're competitive on a property, but the properties are still moving quickly. So the buyers need to move quickly. Months of inventory. So this is our absorption rate. This is one of the indicators of a seller's versus a buyer's market. Again, anything over a 6 month inventory is considered a buyer's market. Anything under is considered a seller's market. And you can see we are still in a strong seller's market. And this has a lot to do with the decreased inventory. So when you take all these factors and you look at what the sales price has done, you have July of 2020. Last year, the median sales price was 700,000, and July of 2021, the median sales price was 800,000. So what does that mean? That means that the house that you could have bought in July of last year for 700,000 cost you $800,000 this year. So this is one of the things that buyers that are sitting back and kind of waiting to see if the market's going to crash, this is what they're facing. So the buyers that had that same thought here in July of 2020 are now facing a property that's $100,000 more for the same property. The mechanics of the market are much different than they were back in 2007, 2008. So we don't expect a major drop, and most economic analysts don't expect a major drop in the values of the homes. We expect to see, when the market cools down, more of a flattening. The problem with waiting is that if the market flattens at 800,000 versus 700,000, then these people that were waiting are now paying too much for the property. And so the same thing stands for now. So if you're sitting here in July and you're waiting for the market to crash or the winter market to come along and prices to go down, those prices are going to continue to escalate. So it's just a risk to wait right now. So it's something for buyers to keep in mind. The market is still very strong. You can see where these levels are versus 2020. And you can also see that there's a natural pattern that happens. This was the summer trend, and we can see that starting to happen here in 2021. It's just at a much higher level. So there is still that window of opportunity for buyers when we get down to the point, excuse that phone call, when we get to the point of end of August, September, that's when things will start to pick back up again. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, so that was enough time inside. I had to get back out here again. So yeah, the market is, it's in good shape. The market is active. It is a small window for buyers, but there's also an opportunity for sellers still because inventory is low. So if you're a buyer, now's the time to get in there because there's a lot less competition and it is starting to pick back up. So this could be a matter of, weeks before things start to pick back up. If you're a seller, now is really the time to get your property on the market because inventory is low and there are buyers. And it seems like the buyers all they got fatigued over, the last 2 or 3 months. And so for the last, 4 or 5 weeks, have been just kind of sitting back. A lot of people have left and gone out of town and traveled with the COVID restrictions lifting. But people are starting to come back. School's about to start, so people are coming back and settling in and starting to look again. So buyer activity is going to be starting to pick up here in the next couple weeks, and inventory is still low. So buyers, move now. Sellers, it's a great time to get your property ready to get on the market. Okay, if you need anything from us, please let us know, and we'll see you on next week's video.